afternoon, my friends. Daniel Miller here. How's everybody doing? This is our daily news bulletin for Tuesday, the 12th of January of 2021. Welcome to everyone who's here with us today, all of our friends, fans, viewers, community members, contributors, squad mates who are viewing the news bulletin on various platforms. Thank you for joining us yet again and for supporting the channel. How's everybody? Very drizzly, dreary, dreadful, soggy weather out here in London suburbs, and not particularly pleasant. But on the other hand, it is at least not as cold as it was during the last week. I've got to say, on Friday when I was coming back from a dinner, the temperature around here felt like -10. I think it was like -6 in the forest. It was very cold. I think it was probably one of the coldest nights in England I've ever experienced in my whole life, and very strange. And I really find myself somewhat stranded because properly dressed up with gloves and all of my winter kit, but it just felt very cold. I felt my fingers were freezing underneath of my gloves, and I have like thermal gloves which are really 100% protection. And when I was eating my dinner, I had to take them off, and believe you me, within seconds I felt that kind of ice cold winds, the cold air, icy air biting from everywhere. And I just had to eat very fast, right, and get back home as quickly as I could. But my walk is usually roughly around 4.5 miles, so it did take a little while. But if you are stranded with very cold weather, you've got to remember one thing: you must never ever stop. You need to walk as fast as possible. You've got to be in full motion, because as you walk fast, the body temperature is accelerated, and therefore you are able to sustain even some really more dreadful cold weather conditions than the one I experienced the other day. So keep this in mind. Be tactical. Remember the basic rules if you are somebody who had experienced it in the wild, and you will be all right. Oh, my news has disappeared already. What is that? Isn't that dreadful? Right, so we've had some messages coming in, and I had 2 or 3 coming from our friends who were watching Call of the Sea. I'll respond to them a bit later. I think we'll adhere to the structure which has been introduced here. First, we get on with the news, we'll look at the community content, and then any other business or any other matters outstanding towards the end. Hope you enjoyed our Warzone stream yesterday. We had lots of fun, although we weren't that successful, I have to say. We didn't really progress down to the last 10 that many times, which is a bit unusual. And we spotted some glitches, we spotted some cheats, there were some issues in there. And there were a couple of matches where we thought we played absolutely phenomenally well as a team. Unfortunately, the other teams were better than us, and therefore we didn't get down to the last 5, and that was a bit of concern. But it very much depends on the day, depends on what participants we have out there in the arena, and unfortunately it also depends whether we are coming across cheats. We did hear from various online outlets that glitch is persisting, where people have like infinite health and they can be sitting behind the gas, and they're almost unkillable, and therefore causing us lots of issues. We did spot this a few weeks ago, I think before Christmas, if I'm not mistaken. But still, these glitches are here, as well as the weapons that appear to be overly powerful, or too powerful as it goes, like that DMR for instance. And if you come across a team in possession of these weapons, you will have a very difficult time out there indeed. So let's see what's come to us on the wires today. So I need to just get my news up and running, and then we'll just give you a very good rundown. Quite a few bits of news coming in today, and first of all, for all of our friends on PCs, we have some wonderful news coming from PC Gamers, and they're presenting us with the Intel Z590 motherboards. And we really are being told that these are some of the very best motherboards in the business, and if you are an avid gamer, particularly if you are doing FPS, or indeed if you are participating here within our Twitch community, you will want to have one of those motherboards fully integrated within your gaming rig system. So they say that motherboards aren't always the most exciting prospect for your average PC builder. If you're willing to spend a pretty penny, you'll find plenty more, let's say, extravagant opinions. None more than the lineup of Z590 or 590 motherboards for Intel Rocket Lake CPUs announced just yesterday, which really want your attention. So they have really more information on this, but they say, it seems fitting to mention it once more, the ROG Maximus 13 Extreme Glacial. This is a motherboard with Supreme Look at Me energy. Comes with an EK water block ready to cool the CPU, VRM, M2 drives and chipset. It's truly an immense motherboard and equally generous RGB to match. So then you have also Z590 Teichi from ASRock, and this motherboard is one of the more understated flagships of the lot. It looks lovely through the full RGB flare, but it's like a few others in the ASRock Z590 lineup. It comes with its own flash novelty, with hopes of swaying PC builders to its shores. That is its built GPU scaffolding, otherwise known as the ASRock graphics card holder. Just to put in perspective, if you are running your games on some of these massive big PC rigs, you will need that water cooling system because they get extremely hot, and I think this is likely to be an issue for the games arriving to our shores since the new console launches, because they're very taxing on graphics, and you also need to have very fast internet. Fiber is preferable because otherwise you'll be getting a severe lag. So there are lots and lots of things to consider. Anyway, PC Gamer recommend Z590 motherboards. They say these are the very best ones. If you're a PC Gamer, have a look at the article. It's on my Twitter. Jane Austen's socialite MMO is no more. So what happened? We'll have to sell the estate, I'm afraid, they said. It is with great remorse that I must announce that high society, massive multiplayer online RPG ever, Jane, sadly shut its doors for good this year. Kickstarted back in 2013 for $100,000, 310 Productions digital facsimile of Regency England was a curious twist of the genre. I have to say I've not played it, I'm very sorry about that. One that ditched swords and sorcery for an equally cutthroat world of gossip, mingling, social ladder climbing pulled from the works of Jane Austen, where you're familiar with Jane Eyre and all the other wonderful novels of hers. And I really would have loved to have played it, because I like that period of history and like the games of that sort, particularly any RPGs. You've seen me play recently Elder Scrolls, and most importantly I played Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is dedicated to Central European nobility. You get to know everything about knights, dukes, earls, kings, and all other members of that establishment of the Middle Ages in Central Europe, and it's really terrifically designed and beautifully delivered. And we'll still have it back here. I streamed it a bit when it was offered on 3 days, but we need to get back to it at some point. But it's very difficult to squeeze everything in. I'm really quite curious to see how the DRBMiller introducing will work in a medium term, because I think for me it's quite a dynamic section of my broadcast every single day, and we'll try to bring in as many games as possible with a quick turnaround, which means every few days we have a new game, and maybe I'll expand on it to have it for a bit longer than 1 hour, and then we'll be able to try a bit more with each game. We'll have to see, but so far so good. Anyway, coming back to it, let's see what they say about Jane, because I missed it. I really wanted to play it, but there wasn't enough time. You always think, if you have those streaming services like PS Now and Xbox Game Pass, a game launched on a service will stay there, but actually the vast majority may not. And I keep forgetting, and there are games that I want to play first of all, and we had Red Dead Redemption. I thought, well, definitely going to keep this one for 6 months, and they've actually taken it down within less than 3. So I didn't manage to finish the game, and I just kept thinking it's going to be there for me to try, and therefore it's very important to have a look at it, because if you were to be examining the PS Now services, you'll see that every single game which is kind of time limited and will be disappearing at a certain point will have that date stated. So you know exactly that, let's say 15th of January is the day when the game's going to cut off, and therefore you need to play well before. And that's very good, because you can actually plan for when you're going to be doing the game, and always keep these dates in my diary, or write it down in my notepad. Therefore I know exactly that, for instance, Control will disappear on 15th of February, and therefore I need to play it well before. And all the other games that are slotted in there, they'll stay live online for a very long period of time, and therefore you do not need to be feeling that pressure of time at all. So very important to keep this in mind. on Microsoft Game Pass, we are not getting any of this, and therefore it is more of concern, because there are games coming up and going, and you get an announcement a week before the game disappears on your app saying the game's going to disappear on the 15th, therefore you need to play it. You know, it's easy for the games like Call of Duty, they're not massive, but if you're doing Oblivion, then Skyrim, it's going to be tricky. And Larry and Jeff did state several times that there are just so many games out there on offer, and the new services are providing us with instant access. Therefore, we're not stranded with the old days kind of waiting periods where we had to be waiting and queuing up and getting our games and paying the dollar for every one of those. Today we got streaming services and subscriptions, and therefore we get everything delivered, which is very easy for us all, and therefore it's more difficult to decide on what titles to choose. And I think Jane for me was not on the top of my list, and therefore it's now gone. So we heard that it looks like the coffers run dry forever. And in August, 310 explained that the rough year had forced it to postpone the game's launch. Hopes to drum up subscriptions to cover the game's monthly server cost didn't pan out. And December, the team announced that Everjane would close the estate by the end of the year. Everjane has never been a pretty game, and I do reckon 3turn were perhaps a little out of their depth, but I have a great deal of respect for what the developer was gunning for with an entirely social-driven multi MMO. And the game's promise even shone through the occasion, with one player telling The Guardian about the scandalous alter egos from a travelling vicar to a gay barrister moonlighting as an opera singer. I'm losing my voice, I don't know what's going on. I do apologise. I drink a lot of grapefruit tea with ginger and with chamomile, and it really helps. But today my voice seems a bit croaky. I don't know why. Right, so we've heard the game's gone, sadly. I just want to remark on the point that our friend from PC Gamer made in there. It's a very, very big difficulty for a small company with their own Kickstarter or the crowdfunding campaigns, and then sustain that degree of investment, because people will contribute with a one-off and have a look at the game, but it is going to be very, very difficult unless they find a publisher who's going to be investing and making sure that they come to streaming services. It's a non-starter, and obviously they were trying to do the very best with online activity. If it is a multiplayer, you've got to be using the service, and the costs are going to be definitely of concern in the longer run. And it all comes back to that. I mean, we talked about it quite a bit here in my community. We're looking at the online multiplayers versus the games on discs, or the games which are delivered in a format that can be always accessed. And there is a genuine concern that, for instance, if the service went down, all this activity on PUBG and Destiny and Elder Scrolls Online and the other games which are delivered in that format, Rocket League, they will be gone, because you couldn't access the game. It's just not possible to play without that server access, and this is obviously very, very tricky, and we just need to see how everything kind of pans out in a longer run. This is altogether fairly new, and the trends indeed have overtaken. People are very, very keen on participating and communicating live online, playing various characters and engaging with the community, and therefore all the other games are receiving a lot less attention. This game, Call of Duty, is certainly a wonderful adventure stroke RPG stroke puzzler, beautifully created, looks very similar like Subnautica. I played it yesterday here, but it doesn't receive enough publicity. We've got it this week as the Game of the Week through Xbox Game Club, and still not receiving enough publicity. I've not seen that many screenshots and overall gaming participants coming in and supporting it. I'm obviously one of those, both having it here doing my news bulletin as well as doing a game and playing the entire walkthrough through my DRBMiller sessions. But still, I'd like to ask everyone else to support indie developers, because the future of this wonderful activity called video gaming is in supporting the young talent. You need to support somebody who is brilliant, ingenious, youthful, and investing all of the time, energy, and resources in creating a wonderful new game. because later on they'll join a bigger company like BioWare, Bethesda. But you need to support them at the beginning, because if you don't, they'll burn out. They'll find out that there is perhaps not many doors opening up for them, and they can't really progress further up in the industry, and they really want that. You know how important this is. I can tell you, as a young person, I had many doors opening for me, and I was continuously pushing to get to the doors as early as possible. So by the age of 30, I was able to complete not just what I originally anticipated, but a lot more. And it was due to the fact that my talent was recognized by the people who supported me, but on the other hand, I was very, very energetic and very persistent in banging all doors and looking for opportunities and grabbing them if they, came to me. And that altogether was a combination of the two. And I think the same access to certain doors and the same support needs to be present more on display, today. And I really want to be supporting all the younger developers and people who are working in creative industries. We've seen in the UK we are having a complete doomsday for the entertainment section of our industry, because people can't be performing live. There's no live events, there's no concerts. The musicians can't be doing what they obviously are being born to do, and it's causing lots of issues in a medium to long term. So you just wonder, where is this talent going to go? What other opportunities are people going to be having? And I think that they really should have embraced the formats that we're using here, with online performance and online delivery, because with it they could have sustained a degree of viewership and a degree of engagement with the community. But musicians like traveling, they like seeing places, meeting new people, and doing it within a confined area and doing your live streams is not quite the same, because you want to have that direct contact with people who are kind of feeling the vibe and enjoying the live music. So still, I think in order to bridge the gap, the community should have embraced more of that kind of selection of live events on Zoom, Twitter and all other platforms, and therefore they could have been at least contributing a bit more to the experience. But that would not be a substitute. This would be just like an add-on. It would be a gap being bridged, because you really want to be out there, you want to be drawing in new fans, you want to have contacts, you want to meet them, and it's part and parcel of that sociable activity where people go out in order to meet others. But at the moment, due to the pandemic, we simply cannot do it. What I'm trying to say is, sadly, a lot of young talent will be suffering tremendously, because once the industry begins with its recovery, which is unlikely to be at any time soon, then they'll be looking at the existing acts, people who are established. They'll invest a lot more in them performing, and all the other young talent and all the other musicians and all the other acts that are queuing up to get in will be neglected. And that's purely to do with the monetary. They'll have to retrieve the revenue that's been lost in a very, very short period of time. And well, there are going to be very difficult days ahead. However, if you are a streamer, if you are a person who's working in creative industries, absolutely make sure that you are the one who is going to be supporting everyone who is an active participant, and particularly those on the younger side, people who are trying to get a major break within the industries. And you've got to be providing something for them. So supporting Call of the Sea, a small company from Spain that created it, will be truly appreciated. And you never know, if you're doing it like myself, doing it on various platforms. You have your Twitch as the main channel, and then you use a restream to get through other platforms. If you archive all of your streams, if you are distributing all of your material through Twitter, Instagram, Facebook and other social networking hubs, you are going to be getting some viewers, you are going to be helping and supporting the effort of the developers, and that is altogether going to be greatly appreciated. So at the end of the day, just make sure that you're supporting creative talent, full stop. That is what I'm trying to say. Be it in the area of music, film entertainment or video gaming, make sure you do everything you can to support it. Whether you're a streamer, whether you're a writer, whether you are a person who wants to be supporting crowdfunding, do something. Make sure that these people receive your appreciation, your support, and therefore that will keep them very much alive and kicking. Cyberpunk 2077 multiplayer may include heist and deathmatch modes, so GamesRadar tells us that that is certainly very seriously considered, and data miners appear to have uncovered details about Cyberpunk 2077 multiplayer. Cyberpunk 2077 data miners are telling us, as reported by DSO Gaming, they found details about upcoming multiplayer modes after digging into Cyberpunk 2077 executable file. Among the code, the references to two different multiplayer modes. The first mode uncovered is said to be a heist mode, so that's going to be quite exciting, while the second looks set to be a deathmatch mode. That's quite fitting for the game. Heist will be very, very difficult to complete. It'll be very sort of high action, high octane type of activity, and you will also get probably the format of a deathmatch, one squad trying to do the heist, the other guys opposing it. Sounds very good. The file shows some of the functions of the two modes and also hints at multiplayer relying on P2P connections, peer-to-peer, as opposed to dedicated servers. Of course, this doesn't necessarily mean Cyberpunk 2077 would have not dedicated servers for multiplayer when it does launch, and everything discovered in the file is not set in stone and could change in the future. Shortly before the release of the RPG on December the 10th last year, CD Projekt Red revealed it was treating the multiplayer side of things as a standalone project. So this is what Adam Kaczynski said. He spoke about this during an investors call, saying, well, we don't call it modes, it's a separate dedicated production, a big production. We think about it as a standalone project. I don't think that's an option today after they had this launch difficult, the difficulties with launch, where with all the technical issues, they probably will be slotting in as an add-on or DLC or something of that sort in order to bring in people. And don't forget, if you have a fantastic heist mode, an excellent deathmatch, all other ills will be forgotten instantly. People just love it and they'll do it again and again. And they really need to consider something similar to Modern Warfare and Warzone, slotting in a separate section that's battle royale, it's live, it's engaging everybody else. And people have very, very short memory nowadays, I'm afraid. It's just the way it is. What's happened yesterday is long gone today. It's not like me or one of the golden oldies where we go back to our childhood, we think of everything that's been happening years back. Well, that's not the way it is for a very young person, and there you are. Alright, so there's said with attention being paid to Cyberpunk 2077 on Xbox One and PS4 after many reports on performance issues. CD Projekt Red is also previously said it will be discussing multiplayer and DLC content early this year, with plans to release the free DLC in early 2021. So it's put in the first quarter. That means before the end of March. No set dates, nothing confirmed. Boo. We've heard that Xbox Game Studios Spotlight 2021 will be a busy time at Rare. You're familiar with Sea of Thieves, of course, with the successful Sea of Thieves continuing to reinvent itself with significant updates on soon seasons as well as Everwild being well into the development. I hope we will learn more about the latter later this year. We have a very nice screenshot coming our way from Xbox Game Studios, and we've heard that Sea of Thieves, Everwild, Battlelords, Banjo-Kazooie, and countless more. We heard that they have 250 staff plus and founded in 1985. So that's basically what you get on Microsoft Studio website. You will be able to get some information on Rare, and they're based in Tycross in England, as you are obviously more than familiar with the place and the studios. If you played Sea of Thieves, you will know that this is a very, very wonderful all-generation, family-friendly multiplayer. You can do all kinds of activities in there, lovable characters everywhere. Most highly recommended. The only thing is you need to master the use of the map and the way you're going to be sailing, because that did take me a bit of time, and I was just doing it, on the grassroots level. I wasn't really checking out anything online to find out what the best methods were, and I found it really quite difficult. So the best way of doing it is similar to Destiny. Get together with your mates, your community members, or your people who are playing your games together with you. Maybe get one or two veterans from Sea of Thieves to just provide you the ropes, and then you'll find out exactly what to do. We have some postings from Bethesda as well, so very nice screenshots. Thank you to Bethesda for that. And we've heard that we are getting a new patch for PUBG Mobile. I played a lot of PUBG Mobile initially, but not touched it for a while. And similar to Call of Duty Mobile, it is a very, very good game to be played on mobile devices. It is, it's been created for the use of mobile devices, and it's very fast. They're really like deathmatch. Obviously, PUBG is not a deathmatch. It's a tactical military simulation map. You have a lot of fun if you want to play it. The experience of it is significantly different compared to consoles and PCs, and that's to do with the screen size and the controls. but remember, it performs really well. So if you want to try out a really good game that works perfectly well on your Android, PUBG Mobile is one of those. We have some lovely screenshots coming in from various friends, one from Amy, Blaze Black, and the other one from 554. Thank you for sending us these. One is concept art, and the other is a clip from this person's stream. Dragon Age 4's Magic Archer concept art looks very, very cool. Well, I'm very excited about it. I've heard about it yesterday. And on Friday, executive producer Christian Daly shared a lovely new bit of concept art for BioWare's upcoming RPG. That's the 4th installment of Dragon Age. It's a beautiful piece featuring an archer stood among some autumnal ruins. Concept art is about all we've seen of the game so far, and a short teaser at the end of the last year's Game Awards. Nevertheless, everybody is thinking about Dragon Age. I'm very, very excited about it. So if you're interested, just have a look at the teaser and also look at the concept art. I think the writer, Imogen Beckling, she's the writer for Rock Paper Shotgun. She's asking some questions about the concept art as well, and she says the character on the concept art looks super similar to the one that appeared in the after-mentioned teaser. Didn't occur to me while watching that trailer, but if this is a player character design, it hints at the possibility of a magic speciality for rogues, or even an archery speciality for mages. That would be well cool. In Dragon Age Origins, you could unlock the Arcane Warrior specialization for mages, which allowed you to equip them with bows. Alas, they could also earn any archery perks, so it didn't work altogether very well. So she's speculating. We're not going to be reading any of those speculations because, quite frankly, the industry is all based on rumors as it stands today, and we want to be getting the facts from the developers. Remember that. I'm very, very upset about what's happened to The Last of Us 2. The rumor about the ending, the rumor about Joel, and the plot was so rife, and it was a lie. People believed in it once the game came out, but within the first 2 weeks, they had absolutely appalling reviews on Metacritic, and I couldn't believe that people just bought into that. It didn't come from Naughty Dog, the developer. It just came from the community. People invented it. I mean, you can be inventing just about any kind of story anywhere, and it's just not a good idea to be believing it and to spoil your gaming pleasure because you anticipated that the story was going to be pursuing a particular direction where the developer never ever dreamt of that. It's just beyond ludicrous. And you know, we've seen what a contradiction. The worst possible reviews on Metacritic within the first 2 weeks, the best-selling game on PlayStation ever. Well, that says it all. Reckon if you are the master of assassination, Hitman 3 will have a Platinum Trophy. So let's see what this Platinum Trophy is going to be like. We're getting some information from Push Square on all of that. Quite curious to see. The previous 2 Hitman titles are Hall of Farmers on the PlayStation 4, but if fans had no, that's completely wrong. What are you talking about? The writer is bringing us into completely different worlds. Interactive has been listening closely, and it's added the coveted going to Hitman 3. So this has got an overhaul to way the trinkets work in the new title, meaning there is an overall reduction in pots compared to Hitman 2. Obviously, it's going to be nice to get that silver blue reward at the end. The full trophy list for the PlayStation 5 version is already live on Exoface, and it looks very achievable. You need to unlock 47 trophies to get the platinum, a handful of which pertain to that of ICA facility level again. The remainder of the gongs relate to the new levels such as Dubai, as well as new gameplay features like the shortcuts we reported on recently. And there are 3 sets of DLC trophies pertaining the legacy content. Sounds good. I mean, I played Hitman 1 and 2 quite a bit on PlayStation. Loved the game, and I even got one of them recently free of charge, I think, through PlayStation Plus. And a really, really good game. You know, you really do want to play it, and you do want to enjoy it. The best thing to do is to maybe buy the Ultimate Edition that's got 2 of the original games together, and anyone who really is in awe of Splinter Cell will be very, very keen on Hitman as well. So definitely one of those games which have been designed for my particular taste. I like stealth gameplay where you're hiding and exploring the open world and making sure that you're kept invisible. You basically are a ghost at all times, and that is a kind of style that I really, really like. Today is Phil Spencer's birthday. Phil Spencer is the big CEO of Xbox, and we absolutely want to be wishing him the happiest birthday of all, and we really look forward to all that is to follow. Sir, we really appreciated all the work you put into Xbox, and I think certainly since you've been leading the team, we've had so many novelties and benefits introduced that simply we cannot be more grateful. So have a very, very happy birthday and enjoy your very special day, and I'm certainly hoping that you'll be able to spice it up with some good gameplay with your own community out there online. And we hear that one of Ash's greatest rivals, Gary Oak, is seemingly returning to Pokemon. IGN are telling us this. He was last seen in Pokemon the series Diamond and Pearl. Gary Oak was introduced as Ash's childhood friend and rival, and is the grandson of Professor Oak, who gave both boys their start as Pokemon trainers. Gary was one of Ash's key competitors in the first Pokemon anime, and remained one of those quite some time. The two eventually ended up becoming friends, and Gary retired from the life of Pokemon, training to become a Pokemon researcher like his grandfather. Gary later made an appearance in Pokemon the series Diamond and Pearl, but has not been seen ever since, which is why his inclusion in the new Pokemon Journeys opening sequence is rather significant. Pokemon Journeys will mark the character's first appearance in the English version of the anime since 2010. That's good news for anybody who is a fan of Pokemon. Gotham Knights co-op focus resulted in Gotham City being entirely redesigned. Well, I'm quite curious to see what happened. Why? Warner Brothers Montreal created a less claustrophobic environment so that everybody could become a dynamic duo. It's one of the most anticipated games of 2021. Gotham Knights has some big bat-shaped boots to fill when you take to the streets of one of the Batman's four proteges. While the Batman Arkham series of video games did focus on a lone caped crusader, developer Warner Brothers Montreal is taking a different approach and emphasizing co-op play as you protect the city in the wake of Batman's death. We have entirely redesigned the combat system in order for it to work well in co-op, and that was the words of Floor Marty, the producer. He said it's the game's radar, and we are getting this news through GameSpot.com. Of course, we are still a brawler, and some of the mechanics will not feel totally alien for people who played and enjoyed the Arkham series, but it's in many ways very, very different. According to the creative director, named Patrick Redding, the drop-in and drop-out co-op gameplay resulted in redesign of Gotham City so that enemy encounters will not feel very claustrophobic. Gotham is a city of alleyways and rooftops, so the footprint for gameplay needs to be compatible with that. Redding explained, this isn't the city you remember from the Arkham trilogy. So that's exactly what they are presently working on, and I've got to say some of the concept art and screenshots I received are really very, very mouth-watering. We are really looking forward to the game coming out. Lots of PS5 games given release windows, including Solar Ash, Kenai and Stray. Push Square telling us that there are lots of goodies coming our way on PlayStation 5. Sony did not have any PlayStation 5 announcements of its own to make CES 2021, but that did not stop a sizzle reel trailer of upcoming titles from revealing an absolute ton of release windows. So we got a lot to get through here, so let's just have a look at what the games really are. We have Kenna, Bridge of Spirits, March 21, Solar Ash, June 2021, Little Devil Inside, July 2021, Ghostwire Tokyo, October 2021, Stray, October 2021, Project Athia, January of 2022, and Pragmata 2023. Well, that's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 big games coming in, so very, very good. All of them are Sony exclusives, I think. Well, we are now getting more news from Games Radar and Game Rant on that glitch, which is basically a stim glitch in Warzone. We talked about this quite a bit yesterday, live online here, and I also talked about it with my squad mates and our regiment in Warzone later during our broadcast. And basically, we are all concerned that this is persisting. I actually need to get a hot drink. I apologize. I really have a problem in my throat today for some reason, so just bear with me. I'll be back in 1 second. Hello, my friends, I'm back. I had to get my hot drink because, for whatever reason, my throat feels a bit croaky today. So, anyway, we were talking about Warzone community and our unsufferable miseries due to that stim glitch, which is persisting. And we talked about this yesterday during our Warzone session with our squad mates, and I also described it here during my news bulletin. It is persisting. We're all very concerned. We complained to Activision, and hopefully they are taking some action. So, just to put in perspective, this game-breaking exploit reappeared in Call of Duty Warzone involving the Stim Pack item, despite being patched 2 times already. So it's very annoying because yesterday we got killed twice by the guys who were having, taking advantage of the glitch, and basically we're getting this article on Game Rant, and telling us that once again we're suffering from this. Since its release, several bugs and exploits have been patched, but it seems that since the integration, the game is experiencing a resurgence of many problems. Call of Duty Warzone fans are once again waiting for a solution to the infamous Stim glitch. This glitch originally appeared months ago, offering Call of Duty Warzone fans a chance to live in the gas. Well, that is what we did see quite a few times during our battles recently, and considering that this glitch is relatively easy to perform, its appearance causes a surge of activity that makes this a larger problem than originally foreseen. Call of Duty Warzone has already passed 2 patches to resolve the bug, but this has appeared once again, causing us many problems as before. Detecting glitch has become rather easy with the Call of Duty Warzone app, making player data accessible. Questionable accounts can easily be viewed, and they can often hold some consistent patterns that point towards Stim packs exploitation. Players who abuse the glitch often do not have many kills and normally end up with healing above 10,000 before the end of the round. So that's basically the way you're going to spot this. This is mainly due to the lack of confrontations within the gas mix with a spamming of the in-game healing mechanic. Eventually, every other player will die to the gas without the exploit user ever seeing them. We did see people surviving behind the gas. In fact, a couple of days ago we had a match where one guy was in the gas and he had his mask on, and the mask began to crack, and then it stopped cracking, and he was in the gas for more than 45 seconds. He just walked around, kept aiming at all the other guys who were on the other side, and eventually they won the match. So we watched them because they killed us. We were down to the last 5, and that was very, very annoying. While the glitch has been often referred to as the unlimited Stim glitch, it is better thought of as unlimited tactical glitch. The method used to duplicate and spam the Stim pack can also be applied to stuns, flashes, decoys and more, so still players tend to use the Stim pack system as a way to abuse the in-game limiting mechanics and exist within the gas. While the developers previously repaired this glitch, it's unclear as to what's caused its reappearance. Call of Duty Warzone players should look out for possible exploit users and attempt to eliminate them before the circle closes into the final zone. Well, we've had that several times. I'm afraid we lost a number of our matches due to this exploit, so that's all becoming loud and clear for all of us. Really, we're quite greatly illuminated on the fact that it's the Stim glitch that is causing the problem, and we probably would have had a few more victories under our belt had this not been persisting. This is only one of several active bugs and glitches in Call of Duty Warzone. While it does have a definite impact on the game's functionality, many fans consider the current DMR imbalance a more pressing issue. Still, it is in no doubt Still, it will no doubt be an easy fix for Raven Software, as this recurring issue is only beginning to reappear. No, that's not true. This is completely wrong. You're assuming that this is a glitch that can be fixed easily, but quite frankly, I think nerfing of weapons is something that really goes back to the developer. They really know what the problems are, and they need to resolve this as soon as possible, because quite frankly, similar to what you have if you're doing an esports tournament, everyone's got to be having the same setup, and everyone needs to be playing on the same speed. That's basically to make everyone unequal. And you know, if you're having DMR, which is so powerful, and other people have not even unlocked it, like myself, basically you're cannon fodder, and that's not acceptable. This is a competitive game, and people are obviously doing it in order to get the best results as a team, and everybody wants to be winning, and all of us will be prevented from winning if you come across the guys. Let's say you have one team, one is using the Stim glitch, the other is having DMR. They're absolutely unbreakable. They'll be just getting the wins all the time. Alright, I think we have 2 or 3 more bits of news before we wrap it up for today. Pragmata, the strange PS5 title from Capcom, will now launch at some point in 2023. That's a long way away. One of the most mysterious announcements from Sony's Future of Gaming event last year was Pragmata, a Capcom title reveal for PlayStation 5. It was confirmed for 2022, but now we'll have to be waiting until 2023. So we had that interesting trailer, and that's seriously a very long way off. Well, we do not know what the reason for that is, but I can tell you the games made for next-gen consoles are also looking at all the other new tech that's going to be introduced, which includes a different types of sound, more immersive quality gaming online, etc., etc. So, you know, they all are being tipped off on the novelties as far as the inventors are concerned, and these may be also the reasons for some significant delays. And, you know, we just have to be a bit patient, and eventually we'll get there. We have some lovely screenshots of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Thank you to Novi, who sent those to us, and they're all on my Twitter. And I have to say, England of that era looks very, very appetizing. Really beautiful, beautiful images of our country before it got fully industrialized. Wonderful landscapes and tiny little villages and hamlets everywhere. And also there's one screenshot of Brecon there with, well, it looks like Brecon, may not be, but maybe Yorkshire, and full of snow. Alright, so let's see what else have we got. HyperX reveals new Xbox Series X controller charging station. So you're probably going to be able to buy it straight away. And Xbox Series X controllers are different from PlayStation 5 controllers in that they require batteries, which can get very expensive. It is frustrating when a controller runs out of juice in the middle of a game. Well, quite frankly, that never happens to me because I use very lengthy 5-meter micro USB cables. Always have my controllers connected to the console. It's quite easy to see as to why it's necessary to do that, because A, it's better connectivity, B, you don't need any batteries, and C, the speed of communication between the controller and what you see on the screen is almost instant. So, you know, Wi-Fi connectivity, Bluetooth connectivity and everything else, the wireless connectivity is never going to be having the same sort of effect. HyperX, however, has a solution. The third-party company is releasing an Xbox Series X controller charging station that is sleek, compact, and will keep controllers charged and ready when we can just play everything wirelessly. And they also revealed quite a new selection of other accessories. Just looking at the picture in here, it looks very good. It looks like you can be charging 2 controllers at once. So if you are on Xbox and if you have one of those, you can get the charger. I personally prefer to connect mine with micro USB cables. And teamwork makes the dream work, says Jared Burback. Well, thank you, because basically that was exactly what we wanted to use as the name of our regiment, and we changed it to Teamwork, Buybacks and Comms, but Teamwork is Dreamwork is definitely what I personally also like and subscribe to if I'm in any multiplayer. Okay, so we've seen all of this, and the last bit of news is going to be on Dying Light. Dying Light promises exciting news, and that is going to be coming our way in view of the departure of their long-term narrative designer. And Pavel Selinger was a narration designer at the Polish studio until revealing on his LinkedIn page that he had left the company after 22 years. 22 years. The news picked up by several outlets, with many putting him as the lead writer of the game following the departure of Chris Avellone and some other guys as well. So Techland responded over the weekend with a statement to PC Gamer. Don't forget, Games Radar, PC Gamer. You know, these are the hubs that you need to be reading if you are interested about all the ins and outs of the video game industry. They get the first news, and they wanted to clarify the departure. They said our friend, who's been the narration designer for the last 2 years, decided at the end of 2020 to end his cooperation with Techland and to pursue his career elsewhere. May not be at all connected to the company. You know, better employment opportunities popped up, and that's it. However, the statement also added that there may finally be some light on the horizon for those wanting news on the game itself. We will be sharing exciting news about Dying Light 2 very, very soon, and the game has not been seen much of since last May. Well, that's true, that's true. The last bit of news for today is the live coverage, the live broadcast coming from Eurogamer. I'm supporting the online hub 100%. I find Eurogamer to be one of the very best, although they have a very small team of participants and contributors, but they're really highly educated, always relying on facts, and if you're looking at message boards and comments, you can actually learn so much from them, almost as if you're reading some of the specific Reddit threads that are attached to developers, so most highly recommended, and I want to support the streams and the live broadcast as well. So today at 3:30 we have Aoife Lockhart taking a moment to decompress and hang on a minute, I pronounced that incorrectly. Aoife, no, that's true. It's Aoife, yeah. Aoife Lockhart is taking a moment to decompress and unwind with lo-fi games to relax to, starting with a classic. So her broadcast will begin in about 20 minutes. So if you want to be doing really chilled out, easy, laid back games to begin your week with, then definitely watch Aoife today on their channel. And they are running a channel on YouTube, so just access YouTube and Eurogamer. You'll be able to enjoy all of that, everything that she is going to be presenting you with today. Lots of different games, and their team is very, very knowledgeable, and they're very engaging, very interactive, so absolutely 10 out of 10. And thumbs up, and my support goes to the team working on Eurogamer broadcasts. Alright, my friends, we've come to the end of our broadcast for today, and I have not received, oh yeah, I did actually. I received a message from James. James is in New Orleans, and I received one message from Alfie, and he is in Amsterdam. Thank you guys, James and Alfie, for writing. I'm taking time really to write to us, and they watched Call of the Sea. And they said, well, this is a very, very good game. James said this is very similar to Subnautica and you said BioWare. Bioshock, of course. I mean, honestly, what's happening in my brain? I just suddenly froze. I couldn't remember this. BioWare, Bioshock. I mean, honestly. James said, it is a bit like Subnautica meeting Bioshock. I really like it. The prologue is happening. It's taking place under the sea, and then you are doing some activity which is quite similar to other puzzlers where you are exploring the area and all this. He said, I really like it. And how long is it going to be on Xbox? Well, I'm not sure. This is a third-party inclusion. It's not an Xbox exclusion. It's not an Xbox exclusive, and therefore it may be or may not be time limiting. I'm not sure. It's not a very massive game. You can download it with ease, and you can finish it within a couple of days. And so, you know, most highly I would recommend it. You've seen my gameplay yesterday. We've gone to the chapter number 2, so we'll carry on today. Very glad to hear that you're enjoying it, and that you're comparing it to some of the other very successful games of the same kind. And thank you really for supporting both Xbox Game Pass, the developer who made Call of the Sea, and my channel. And Alfie from Amsterdam said, I really liked it. I really play a lot of old styled puzzlers on my PC, and I'm a great fan of GOG.com. I get lots of these games from there. Well, thank you, Alfie. I mean, that's exactly how it is with me as well. I also play lots of games on my PC, and GOG really has been the very best for the last 10 years. You know, ever since they launched the outlets, they basically bought all the rights for the older games initially, and you will know that this is a company affiliated and connected to CD Projekt Red, and you know, you can just download everything that is fully patched, and therefore you can enjoy it even better than on the old 1990s and noughties computers. And I can tell you, the game I played quite extensively is the original Neverwinter 1 and 2, and then there were some other games like Blade Runner and you know, all the golden oldies that I had originally on my PC. So definitely a game that is very, very interesting, and I'm very glad to hear that you're enjoying it, that you like puzzlers. And there are some puzzles, as you've seen in Call of the Sea, when you come towards the end of a chapter, that appear to be very, very difficult, and you need to really pay attention to all the signs and everything in your environment, maybe even have to take notes, because for instance, unlocking the bridge and unlocking what was the other thing, there were two things in there that turned out to be very difficult. They had like combination locks that had to be unpicked, and you know, not really very, very easy, but people who are into puzzles and adventure games will definitely enjoy it. And it is a game that is beautifully designed. You have wonderful environments in there, also a very, very good storytelling. What I like is they obviously had a bit more of a budget for the game, and there were no problems as far as the visuals were concerned, I have quite a few puzzlers that are very simple. They look like a graphic novel, hardly any animations, but really very good content and difficult puzzles to resolve. But this one is basically giving us the best of the two worlds. So very glad to see that our friends are enjoying it. So Alfie and James, thank you for writing to us. And also what I need to tell you is this game is our game of the week on Xbox Game Community Club. So if you're interested, join our club if you are indeed members of our Xbox community, and then play the games which are recommended every single week. Skyrim is the game of this week on the club, and then share screenshots or clips, and then communicate, comment, engage in discussions, either here live online through Twitch channels or on Twitter by writing certain comments with hashtags, or indeed you can go to Xbox Game Club community on Xbox. We have like message boards in there, and you can type a lot of different comments in there. You'll get many responses. Lots of people are using these, and they're very interactive. Also a very good way if you want to be building a community here on Xbox, or indeed if you are a streamer. Alright, let me think if there's anything else. Well, we'll carry on very shortly with Call of the Sea, part of DRBMiller introducing, and later in the week we'll be looking at Skyrim, the special edition, the remastered edition, which is also given to us by Xbox Game Club as the game of the week of this week. And next week there will be Among Us. So we have plenty of games to get through and relatively little time. I want to invite everybody to join our club, and if you are on PlayStation, well, you can still explore some of the titles, and you can perhaps consider whether to join our community. The way I think is the most accessible for everyone is if you join basically both communities, and if you are well, you need to have both consoles basically, and as we have the new ones, PS5 and Xbox Series X out, the older gen consoles will be dropping in price. You'll be able to get them on next to nothing, and that will give you the very best access to the gaming world altogether. Because like myself, I have both consoles and I'm subscribed to both services, the streaming services on PlayStation and Xbox, and therefore I can access literally everything with ease. In addition to that, if you're a subscriber to the Ultimate on Xbox, and then PS Now on and PS Plus on PlayStation, you get lots of freebies every month. You have free days, you have loads of benefits, and quite frankly, if you love video gaming, you've got to be on at least one of those platforms. So once again, Call of the Sea, accessible on Xbox Game Pass. Just download and crack on with gameplay, and that is exactly what we are going to do very shortly. We are continuing with our gameplay of this game on my DRBMiller introducing session, which will begin in about 5 or 10 minutes. So stay with us, enjoy the wonderful adventure stroke RPG stroke puzzler, and send us some of your comments and views. Most importantly, if you're on Xbox, do engage with the community, hashtag some of the messages and screenshots and clips, post them to Twitter, and make sure you are becoming an active participant in all that we do here with our other gamer friends. So thank you for watching, thank you for being here with us today for my daily news bulletin. Hope you enjoyed some of the information that indeed was coming our way on the wires, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another one, and hope you obviously stay with us for a little while longer in order to see a bit more of Call of the Sea on DRBMiller introducing, which will begin in about 5 minutes after I had my break. So thank you for watching, and I shall see you all shortly.